Hello and welcome to episode 293 of the Daily Sales Message Sales Podcast, where every single day I hit my microphone with my hand. I hope you didn't hear that. I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. If you're new around here, my name is James Newell. I talk extremely quickly, so apologies for that, but I teach people how to sell, and for me it comes in two parts. It starts with having a clear sales message. People have got to understand what you're actually trying to sell to them. And secondly, you need selling confidence, the ability to be relaxed and comfortable and confident in a selling situation. I do talk quickly, don't I? Sorry about that. Right, in today's episode, we're talking about explanations are expensive. Explanations are expensive. There's lots of different stories I could tell you on this, but a couple in particular. The first one is when you name something. When you name business in particular. So when you name your business, product or service, but a business in particular, if your business name has a story to it, it's a Latin word, or it's a star, or it's something that's meaningful to you, it takes a little bit of an explanation. It's not what I would call obvious, an obvious sales message, then it's a potential barrier, When we name businesses, products and services, we're going to choose the things that matter to us. It's like naming your children, naming your pets. You pick the thing that you love and is meaningful to you. And I understand that. It's very normal and very natural. But in the commercial world, it's very, very dangerous. So my company's called Clear Sales Message. Clear Sales Message. It's pretty obvious what I do. You can take a guess. You should be right. If I traded as James Newell Consulting or Imperium Consulting or something that's got a little story behind it, some Latin word consulting, you wouldn't really have a clue what I do. I'd have to explain it to you. And even once I had explained it to you, you don't really care anyway, because it's only really to do with me. And in that regard, explanations are expensive. So for naming in particular, you want to give something the most obvious, explicit, descriptive name you possibly can. This doesn't work so much when you're in high ticket, high value products. So, if you think about fashion brands, for example, Louis Vuitton wouldn't be called veryexpensivehandbags.com, wouldn't have the same cachet and ring to it, would it? So in very, very high ticket stuff, it's a bit different. But for most other things, having an explicit name, a very, very detailed name for what you do, can help you just avoid having to explain things to people, because if you have to explain something, it's expensive. And why I'm saying it's expensive is because it's going to cost you business. You're going to lose people who just don't understand what you do. They don't have the time or the interest. They can't be bothered to ask about what you do or find out the reason behind something, and they go to somewhere where it's a lot easier to buy. So think about the name of your business, product or service today. Think about how it's named. Does it have an explanation? Does it need an explanation? Sorry. If it does, then just be careful, because you might have unknowingly placed a hurdle between you and your buyer. Right, that's it for this episode of the Daily Sales Message Podcast. In tomorrow, 294. Bit of a pattern here. Today is explanations are expensive. Tomorrow, syllables are expensive. You can see where my mind was going when I was planning out my episode. So come on back tomorrow for another episode. We're going to talk about the fact that syllables are expensive and how we can work around those. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please hit like or subscribe or leave a comment or interact anywhere where you're listening or watching this podcast. I would really appreciate it, and it just helps us to reach more people. I probably shouldn't do a daily podcast because I'm losing my mind. Thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow for another edition.